What's up, crypto family? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell because we're diving deep into the projects Wall Street doesn't want you to know about. And if this video helps you spot the next move before everyone else, drop a like. It literally takes half a second and it helps the algorithm show this to more people who need to see it. Alright, let's get into it. So here's where we are right now. Bitcoin is doing its usual bipolar routine. Meme coins are pumping and dumping faster than your ex's mood swings. Kaspa. The little layer one that could. During that liquidation massacre, Kas briefly touched 1 cent. That's the kind of price that makes people either panic sell their bags or mortgage their house to buy more. But here's the thing. Within hours, Kaspa bounced back above 5 cents. That's a 500% recovery, while everyone else is still trying to figure out if they should delete their portfolio apps. That kind of resilience doesn't happen by accident. And it definitely doesn't happen to projects that are all hype and no substance. But despite this insane price action, despite the community growth, despite the technology actually working, there's one question that keeps coming up over and over again. Why the hell isn't Kaspa on Binance yet? Now, before you start typing rug pull in the comments, hold on. Because the answer to that question might actually be the most bullish thing about Kaspa right now. Let me explain. A few days ago, a guy named Jeffy Yu decided to blow the whistle on how crypto exchanges really operate behind the scenes. And trust me, it's not pretty. According to Jeffy, Binance allegedly wanted $1 million in cash just to list a token. $1 million. Not for marketing, not for liquidity, just for the privilege of being listed. But wait, it gets better. Kraken apparently asked for somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000 plus a bag of tokens. And Bybit, they wanted $250,000 in cash and I quote, a fat stack of tokens. I love how they didn't even try to be professional about it. Just straight up, yeah, give us a fat stack. And then there's Wintermute. You know, the market maker that's supposed to provide liquidity and help stabilize prices. They allegedly wanted 10% of the total token supply. That's 100 million tokens. For context, that's enough to manipulate the entire market if they wanted to. Jeffy Yu ended his post with 3 words that I think sum up the entire situation perfectly. It's a filthy game. Now I don't know about you, but when I read that, my first thought was, yeah, that tracks. Because we've all seen projects get listed on major exchanges, pump for 2 days, and then crash 90% because the insiders dumped their free tokens on retail. It happens so often we don't even blink anymore. But then Kaspa Daily, one of the most active community accounts for Kaspa, quote-tweeted Jeffy's post and said, in case you're still wondering why Kaspa is not listed on Binance. And just like that, everything clicked. Kaspa isn't playing the game. They're not paying the bribes. They're not handing over 10% of their supply to market makers who'll use it to wreck retail traders. They're building a legitimate project the old-fashioned way, by actually having working technology and a community that believes in it. And honestly, that's the most decentralized middle finger I've seen in crypto in a long time. According to another post from Kaspa Daily, and yeah, these guys are doing God's work, Kas has now hit oversold RSI levels that have only appeared twice before in its entire history. Twice. That's it. And both times, what happened next was absolutely insane. The first time this RSI signal flashed, Kaspa rallied from 1 cent to 15 cents. That's a 15x move. 15 times your money if you bought the bottom. The second time, Kas pumped over 100% within weeks. Not months, week. And now, right now, as I'm recording this, that same RSI signal is flashing again. We're sitting at the exact same oversold levels that marked the bottom of the last 2 major rallies. The chart is literally copy-pasting the setup. Now, does that guarantee we're about to see another face-melting pump? No, nothing in crypto is guaranteed except volatility and people arguing in the comments. But when you combine oversold technicals with a project that refuses to compromise its integrity for exchange listings, you start to see why smart money might be accumulating right now. However, and this is important, Kaspa has already bounced 5 times from the crash lows, while most of the market is still trying to find a bottom. Bitcoin is struggling, Ethereum is barely holding on, and here's Kaspa, already recovering like it's got something to prove. That kind of relative strength is what I look for when I'm trying to spot the next big mover. Because in crypto, the projects that recover fastest from crashes are usually the ones that pump hardest in the next bull leg. Let's address the obvious concern. Some of you are thinking, but if Kaspa doesn't get listed on Binance, how is it going to pump? Binance has all the volume. Binance brings the retail traders. Without Binance, Kaspa is just going to stay a niche project. And look, I get it. Binance listings historically have been huge catalysts for price pumps, but here's the counter-argument. How many projects have gotten listed on Binance, pumped for 48 hours, and then slowly bled out for months because the listing was the only thing they had going for them? I can name at least 20 off the top of my head. Projects that paid the listing fees, got their moment in the spotlight, and then faded into obscurity because they didn't have real adoption or real technology backing them up. Kaspa is doing the opposite. They're building legitimacy first. They're proving that the technology works. They're growing an organic community that actually uses the network instead of just speculating on the price. And but when they eventually get listed on a major exchange, they'll do it from a position of strength, not desperation. That's when you get the real explosive moves. Not when a project is begging for listings, but when exchanges are competing to list them because the demand is already there. And let me add my own 2 cents here because I've been analyzing Layer 1 projects for years now. Kaspa's block DAG technology is legitimately impressive. It's not just another Ethereum clone or Bitcoin fork. It's a fundamentally different approach to solving the blockchain trilemma of scalability, security, and decentralization. Does that mean it's perfect? No. Does it mean it'll definitely succeed? Also no. But it does mean that Kaspa has actual technological innovation backing it up, which is more than I can say for 90% of the projects that do get listed on Binance. The other thing that stands out to me is the community response during this crash. I was watching the price action in real time, and while other communities were panicking and blaming market manipulation, the Kaspa community was buying the dip and posting memes. That's the kind of conviction you want to see in a project, because when the community doesn't fold under pressure, the project has a much better chance of surviving and thriving long term. So, what's the play here? If you're already holding KAS, this might be a good time to zoom out and remember why you bought it in the first place. If you're looking to enter, wait for confirmation that the 5 to 6 cent range is actually holding before you ape in. And if you're on the sidelines, at least keep Kaspa on your watch list, because if this RSI signal plays out like the previous 2 times, you're going to wish you paid attention. One more thing. Let's talk about what happens if Kaspa does eventually get listed on Binance, because at some point, it probably will. Whether it's in 3 months or 3 years, major exchanges eventually list the projects that have proven themselves. And when that happens, you're looking at a potential supply shock. Think about it. Right now, KS is trading on smaller exchanges with less liquidity. When it hits Binance, you're going to have millions of retail traders who suddenly have easy access to buy it. And if the price is still at these levels when that happens, the buying pressure could be absolutely ridiculous. That's the setup. That's why people who understand what's happening here are quietly accumulating. Because they know that Kaspa refusing to pay for listings now might actually set up the biggest payday later. Alright fam, that's where we are with Kaspa right now. If you want to go deeper on Kaspa's technology or see more chart analysis, I've got videos on my channel that break it all down. And seriously, if you made it this far, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. I'll see you in the next one. Stay profitable, stay safe, and remember, we're all going to make it. Just maybe not all at the same time. Quick legal disclaimer before you go. Nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm just a dude on the internet sharing my opinions and analysis. Crypto is risky. You can lose everything. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Do your own research. Don't blame me if you buy KAS at 6 cents and it goes to 1 cent. You're an adult. Make your own decisions. Alright, peace out.